Good morning. Safe Haven. When I first started making these videos, I was going by Safe Haven. This is actually my YouTube name. One of my Facebook pages is Safe Haven, and I have another Facebook page now that I've opened up. Excuse me. It's more of a spiritual page. Pardon me. More of a professional page, I guess you want to say. I have another page that I've had for years. I've changed the names on it quite a few times. I really try hard not to post anything personal on there. I try not to post anything negative. There was a time that I was caught up in, or I guess socially conditioned, how society wants us to be. I grew up in a very tough environment, watching a lot of tough movies, tough guy movies, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Bruce Willis, all these. My dad was an ex-Vietnam veteran, so he wanted inbred, whatever term, in me, make me a little bit of a soldier. Grew up with guns, and no I love yous, or hugs and kisses. I believe that if we have children, we need to show them every day how much we love them and how much we appreciate them and how much we care for them. We also need to guide them. They are little humans. They do have minds of their own. We cannot make them be something that they're not, because they are their own beings. Just because we brought them into this world doesn't mean that they are us, or we should make them something that we have not been able to accomplish in our lives, our mistakes. There's nothing wrong with guiding them and teaching them to be a good person and to do the right things, to have some morals and some values. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what we're here to do. As parents, we're teachers as well. We're doctors. We're everything to them, but we're not them. We need to allow them to be them, no matter what that is, and we should love them unconditionally, whatever they choose to be. We cannot make them. When we start having to make them, that's going to have a lack of respect for us, a lack of regret. They will look back and they will dislike certain things. We don't want our children to dislike anything about us. We want them to love us and to always be around us and always appreciate us. And I didn't have that luxury. If I wasn't doing what my dad wanted me to do, or line up with what he wanted me to do, I was punished for it. Same with my mom. So we need to give them the option, give our children the option to, and show them whatever it is that we're doing, that there's love involved with what we're doing, and peace. That's what will be attracting to them. If there's hate or negativity, they will not want to be part of that. Why would they? But we do need to make them strong, because this is a shitty world that we live in, and it's a hard world, and it's a tough world. That doesn't mean we be abusive to our children whatsoever. Never be abusive to your children. I don't believe in spankings. I don't believe in raising my hand to my child for pain. I'm a very empathetic person. the pain that I would give my child would be more painful to me. I know how that feels, and I don't want to push that onto my child. So I know that there's some out there that okay with discipline, that are okay with spankings, but I don't. I spanked my child one time, and it was the hardest thing I ever had to do in my life. And I cried like a baby after I got done spanking him. Just thinking about it now breaks my heart, because I had to inflict pain on my child. And it was terrible. It was an awful thing. And I regretted it. And I've had to do it again, and it was just as painful as it was the first time. I understand that this world is painful, and they're going to experience so much more pain than what you can inflict on them. But that's not the point. Even though the pain, the physical pain is going to go away, it's the mental pain that's going to sit on them that's longer. The person that I love, the person that's supposed to protect me and supposed to keep me safe, is causing pain on me. And it's okay to tell them, look, this is what's going to happen. This is going to hurt, and this is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you. I get that. And that's always good to say if you're going to do that. But it's still going to be there. It's still going to be in their minds. And we just need to be careful. I believe that there's other ways of discipline. I'm an empath, so of course this is coming from an empath, somebody who's all love and all heart, and does not like to send out pain. I'm sorry with the camera thing. This is my view. You can't see my face in this video because obviously it's dark. You can see. So I'm just showing you my view. So anyway, I remember growing up, and it seemed like beatings were a favorite pastime for my parents, mentally and physically, because it was it happened quite a bit. I don't remember at least one day that I didn't go without getting smacked or kicked or punched or a name being called toward me. And I'm not saying this to make you feel sorry for me, because I'm if anything, it made me stronger and it made me more loving. And how easy it was, there was no hesitation to it. There was just, it's different to get popped, but to get several whacks, and okay with that. And the bad thing about it was, both of my parents were not fans of each other's. There was a lot of anger toward each other, and I was more or less the scapegoat, or the punching bag, I guess you wanted to say. If my mom was upset with my dad, she would take it out on me, and if my dad was upset with my mom, of course he would take it out on me as well. My dad was more of a mental. My dad was more mental abuser than my mom was more the physical abuser. But I remember getting beat, and this was an everyday thing. It was all the time, and it was normal. But I never allowed it to break me, and I never allowed it to beat me. I still kept my loving and my loving in my heart, as always. And you think that's a normal thing. I wasn't brought up around a lot of kids, had a lot of friends, so I couldn't really compare myself to anybody else. So that was a normal thing for me. And I remember when I got my child, and he was the greatest thing on earth, and I love him dearly. I love him more than anything, and I would die for him, and I would kill for him. And that first time that I had to discipline him, and I just didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it, and I regretted it. And I gave him so many opportunities to not. And at this time, when I was doing this, I wasn't where I am now as far as spiritually goes. So I guess it kind of shows you how empathetic I was even before I went through this spiritual journey. But I remember as I was spanking him, and it wasn't a severe spanking. It broke my heart. It literally broke me, and something clicked inside of me. And it brought me back to my childhood and how I was brought up. And I got to thinking, how can someone who claims to love you dearly, and I really never was claimed to be loved, but how can somebody that's your protector and your savior and someone you're supposed to look up to and turn to for help beat you so bad? I know how much I loved my son, and I knew how much it hurt me when I spanked him. And that was just one pop. That wasn't even a beating. That was just a one pop. And it really upset me, because it made me realize, did my parents really love me? I mean, was I really loved? Was I a mistake? Was I a regret? All these things are popping into my head, and it saddened me. It hurt me. It broke my heart. To this day, now, I wouldn't say to this day, but now, this day and time, I don't really think much about it anymore, because it really doesn't hold any more value to me. If I think about it, it doesn't hurt me anymore, because my mind just doesn't go that way anymore. I'm pretty much on a certain level of a vibration, which is love and peace. I'm sure you can understand and hear it in my voice. It just doesn't do me any good to sit on it anymore, to think about it in pain and regret. That's something that my mom has to live with. My dad took it to his grave, and he had to die with that in his heart. God rest his soul. I believe, and I'm in my mom's life, and we see each other pretty regularly, and I don't have any hate for her, no negative thoughts toward her whatsoever. She is who she is. She treats me pretty decently now. She had a grandchild, a grandson. She treated him pretty well. Completely different childhood than mine. And maybe her in her older age, having another opportunity with another child, made her realize some things. And she's still tough. She still has that tough demeanor about her. And it's probably just a front. I see through it. It changed her quite a bit. I don't have any hate. No hate in me for that. Things are the way they are. And that's the way we need to look at things more anyway, is this is how it is. That's how things are. Every day anyway is meant to be. It's already been planned out. We can't sit on things like that, because it's just going to tear us up inside. It just makes us more miserable. So I had no idea where I was going with this video whatsoever. I just started to speak, and I don't really remember what I said or what I talked about. I knew it had something to do with a child. We need to teach our children to love, to be kind, to treat others how we want to be treated. That's how we need to be. Not to bully, not to talk negative about others. You're not raising a good human being if you're teaching them to be this way. You're teaching someone, because children are very influential. They look up to us. The way they act is representation of us. We can't get on to our children if we go to school and they act up and they act a fool. If they're taking after us. They are mirrors of us. If they're around us all the time, then they are mirrors of us. I understand that there are other children and other people in the world that they're around that could be influenced by them or by us. But the majority of the time they're around us. So, and also how we treat our loved ones. If they see you treating your husband wrong or your wife wrong, they're going to see that and they're going to think that's okay. And that's wrong. Why can't people grasp this concept? You got to be careful being around your children. If you're arguing with your loved one or your spouse, keep it away from your child. All that's doing is teaching them, is showing them, because they're like sponges. Everything they see, they're taking in, and they think that's how it is because they don't know. They only know by what they're going by and what they're seeing and what they're taught, and that's the scary thing about it. We have to be really careful. It's like in school. Teachers, school boards, government, media, they're teaching us and people are believing it, and it's wrong. We go into school and they can teach us whatever they want to teach us because our minds or our child's minds are so young and so pure and so innocent, have not been trashed through society. Be conscious of what's going on in your life, around you and in your world, and what you're taking in. Be careful with who you're listening to, because most of the time, and I don't believe anything anybody tells me, because most of the time somebody is telling them something. Somebody has always learned something from somebody else and they pass it on to you. But who's to say that's right? Who's to say that's the real thing? You're only going by what somebody else said, that somebody else said to them. Do your research. I only go by what I see and what I feel. I don't listen to anybody, and I don't believe half the things people tell me. I hope everybody has a good day. I love each and every one of you, and I hope the best for you. I really do, and I hope you succeed. Always keep your head up. Stay strong, stay positive, stay loving, because that's who you are. You're taught to be hate. You're taught to be negative, especially in a hateful and a negative world. I love you guys, and Godspeed.